Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to episode 79 of the Yorkshire Gamers Reet Big Wargames podcast. And it's a bit of a change in scheduled programming. The Wargames Time Machine episode is proving to be quite a difficult birth, unfortunately, and I've had to put it off again, just waiting for a couple of things to drop together. It's only been being put together for about a year, but we will get there. We will get there, I promise, and hopefully that will be episode 80. So, episode 79 is a bit of an experimental journey. I went down to the T'Other Partizan show, as I always do anyway, and I didn't have a game on this year just because I'd been too busy at home to get anything organised. So I got in contact with Trix and Laurence, the guys who organise it, and just said, "Do you mind if I come round with a microphone?" More of that in a minute. And just chat to people and kind of be like a roving reporter. So that's what I've done. And I spoke to 20 odd people, mostly people I knew, mostly people who've been on the podcast. So if you were there and I didn't speak to you, apologies. It was literally who I knew and who was available at the time. And just had maybe a couple of minutes up to 10 minutes with some people just going through what they're doing. Maybe they've been on the show before and it's a bit of an update, or they've got a game on and we talk about the game, or they're a manufacturer and we have a chat about Partizan itself and how they're doing with their business. We start off kind of arse about tit, if you like, because first interview you're going to hear is with the show organisers, and I did that around lunchtime, about 2 o'clock, because they were obviously really, really busy in the morning. And then I'm going to go back, and the interviews that you hear after that are chronologically done as I went through the show. So the first batch are mostly people who I know or people who are gamers. And then towards the end of the little mini interviews, I talked to some of the traders who obviously by that time of the day, they are winding down. And when I finally got to Leon from Pendraken, he was packing away. So I hope you enjoy this. There's going to be lots of different problems and issues with sound and people drifting in and out, and it's because I'm in a live environment and I'm using a reporter microphone for the first time ever. So I do apologise for any, I'm not a sound engineer at the end of the day. I'm a very, very different type of engineer. So sit back with a cup of tea and enjoy this and imagine that you were live at T'Other Partizan. Without further ado, here's the interviews. Right, we are at the entrance to the show and I'm joined by the two fellas who make this work here. So I've got with me...
I'm Laurence Baldwin.
And Richard Tyndall.
Thanks very much, guys, and congratulations on another fantastic show. How long have you guys been involved with Partizan?
Well, the first one was in 1986, so next year will be our 40th year.
Any big plans for the 40th?
Nothing. Hopefully run a bit more smoothly than this one did. But
yeah, we're going to come on to the Great Gazebo event very shortly. But you guys have been putting on the show for a long time, and you've moved venues. You came from Kelham Hall to here, and it's always known for the quality of the games. Is that something that you strive to keep?
Oh, sorry, yeah, no. To be fair, I mean, the very first two shows we did were at my old school, and that was at the sports centre, and that was because it was Duncan and Laurence, Duncan McFarlane and Laurence, who started shows there. I just helped out in the background, but very quickly, Duncan doing Wargames Illustrated meant that people wanted to bring games and get them photographed for the magazine. And even though that's a thing of the distant past, you've still got obviously Dan from Wargames Illustrated, you've got Guy from Wargames WSS, sorry, Wargames, yeah, and they're still doing that, and that draws in the quality games. So we'll always look for quality, but we don't really have any control over that. We don't tell people what they can and can't bring, and people bring the game to suit what they want to do and the period that they're interested in, and that they hope other people are interested in. And it always works out.
Yeah, it's kind of like a critical mass that you've got, isn't it? The good games bring the good games that bring the good games.
Yeah, and I think that's always been our niche. I think if you're going to run a successful show, you need something that you're known for, and clearly the high quality games are something that we're known for. I think since we've been up at the showground rather than Kelham Hall, we've made a big push on doing more participation games. And what's impressed me particularly is that the quality of the participation games has increased. So, it's not just, it used to be that all the participation games were a bit sort of abstract, but now the quality of the terrain for those games as well seems that, in many cases matches that of the display games.
Yeah, I noticed on the Facebook we were talking about traders, and Leon from Pendraken's going to have a year off. As we get older, sadly we're getting older, all of us, some of the more traditional manufacturers are no longer doing shows. Are you finding that there's a new generation stepping up and filling those spaces?
Yeah, I'm currently running with a waiting list of 90 traders.
Wow.
To get in. People always used to complain that you can never get into Partizan, and we always ran a policy of hopefully not literally dead man's shoes, because we always reckon on the basis that if people have been willing to support us for a long time, we're not just going to change them out at random. So it's always been a case that once you're in until you decide not to be.
Yeah.
But we still, if you look back, probably have a changeover of, 5 or 10% a year of traders at least. Some years will be more, some years less, but there's a steady changeover. And a lot of the people that the traders people think are established here now have only been in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
So we do have a steady turnover of traders. We do have some very strict policies about the traders, so we do our best not to have resellers.
Yeah.
Everybody who comes here, we want them to be either the original manufacturers or that manufacturer's agent. There are a few exceptions because you do need a bit of variety, but there tend to be people who've been with the show from the start, since Caliber, such as Caliber, But generally, we were looking for original manufacturers and, people doing something new and something that balances the show as well. So if we used to have 3 or 4 booksellers, I think we've only got 1 strictly now.
Good old Dave,
so,
he's everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So if and when Dave eventually, moves on to pastures new, then, we would look to replace him, for example, with another bookseller.
Yeah.
But we're also looking for lots of new stuff. We don't want to be, we've always had a reputation, although we've always tried to avoid it, of being a 28mm show or a 25mm show. And it's really nice today that we've got such a big variety of traders, and that's something we're always trying to maintain, is it's not just, what we like, it's something for everybody.
So do you guys split the organisation up into different areas, or is it kind of a all-in job?
Well, Richard does all the floor planning, so he does a lot of the communication and stuff. I do, I guess, a lot of the background stuff, so booking marquees, for example. Liaising with the showground, all the other bits, and in the past certainly Richard's been offshore working in the past, so sort of day-to-day running of the show has been my bag. We share that a bit more now that he's back and able to make sure that I don't misuse his floor plans.
Well, one of the more recent features of the show has been around the entrance area, and you've kind of extended the hall without extending the hall and having some bring and buy and table sales in there. And don't worry, guys, you can swear on this podcast. We're perfectly happy. But I believe that there's a bit of a story about the gazebos and outside. So who wants to go on that?
I'll do that. Yep. So in May we hired a marquee because the persistent thing that everyone has asked for is a bring and buy or a tabletop sale. And we haven't had a bring and buy for many years, partly because of staffing issues and partly because of space issues. And our decision has always been, since we've been at the showground, to keep everything on one site rather than using any of the other buildings. So the marquee was a way of creating a little bit more space. But this year we kind of ran into a problem where the marquee people wanted to put the marquee up on Friday. The showground had an antiques fair, which is their biggest customer, who occupying the whole site on the Friday. So we thought, okay, marquee people can come Saturday, but the marquee people, and I won't mention their name, but never used them, said they don't work weekends, which is like, go figure.
Yeah.
So we ended up making a decision that we were going to buy some industrial size or strength gazebos which were fine. They assured us they would be delivered for Friday. They didn't turn up on the Thursday when they were originally planned for. They didn't turn up on the Friday, and a well-known American courier company had managed to lose the entire consignment somewhere in their system. So the thing that you can see, and maybe your listeners can't, is a series of Amazon gazebos that were the only thing we could find that would ship overnight and came to my house Saturday morning. And it seemed to have worked out. We'll use the industrial size ones next time, but we've learned a few lessons from this. It's a bit dark in there, for example, so we'll get some lights and we'll work from there for next time.
Excellent. And another well-attended show today. We're kind of mid-afternoon when we're chatting now. You don't need to make any major changes, I'm guessing, is what you're thinking, and more of the same.
No, more. I mean, the big changes were this year with getting the marquee so we could have the tabletop sale and that sort of thing. And that's gone well. I still have, I mean, I said about the waiting list for traders, which is one of those things you're always going to get when you've got a relatively successful show. But the bigger problem for me is I've got a waiting list for games now. So, and I hate turning down games. So I've got 6 or 7 games who wanted to get into this show, who I'll then have to prioritise for next show, quite happily. But that has a knock-on effect. So space is always an issue for us.
Does that mean I have to get in early next year because I've missed?
It does, yeah. I mean, when I sent out the invite this year, I said to everybody, basically, get your return in quick because we can't guarantee places. We have, when we were at Kelham Hall, we had 28 games and 38 traders. Now here we're at 42 traders, so we've only gone up by 4 traders, but we're at 71 games. So plus the society stands and that sort of thing. So it's been a big expansion, but I could literally fill another show.
Yeah, it's going great guns, guys, and I have to say it's fantastic to see. So is it the same for yourself, Laurence, just more of the same?
Yeah, I think what we've always tried to do is not stand still. So we've always had this sort of idea of continuous quality improvements, but little bits incrementally. And that's what we'll carry on doing.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, guys. Fantastic show. Congratulations on another success.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Right. Yeah, I should practice before I do this. Right. So we're at the Partizan show, and we're with Andy Johnson, one of the former guests of the show, and writer, former soldier, and how things going today, Andy?
Well, good, thanks, Ken. As ever, busy show. Lots of readers coming to see us, old and new. So yeah, I love being at the show. It's a great day out.
Excellent. And last time we spoke, you were working on a new book. So how's that progressing?
It's progressing really well, actually. I'm about halfway through writing. I'm hoping to get that launched at Partizan in May next year. And we're going back to the 17th century for this one. I've finally taken the plunge, and we're going to go for English Civil War with the new novel.
Looking forward to that. I'm a big royalist, and I think you are as well. So is it going to come from that perspective?
Yeah, it certainly is. I've created a fictional royalist regiment and a few fictional characters, but of course the period is full of really big historical characters, many of which are going to feature in the novel. I planted it fairly central of the First English Civil War, which gives me plenty of room to do prequels and sequels either side. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it as a long-term project, actually, not just a standalone novel. I think we'll get a good series out of this.
Yeah, is that something that you've already thought about rather than just a one-hit wonder? You've kind of planned a story arc, I think they call it, for the people involved, the characters?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I kind of know where the whole story starts, and I know where the whole story finishes. But bizarrely, I've decided to make the first novel smack bang in the centre of the timeline. That's just a quirk of how I write. So I'm going to do this and then build the series forwards and backwards from this particular novel.
Excellent. Really looking forward to that. And this is our second take because I had some technical failures earlier on. And you did mention that you were kind of going to lead up to the formation of the Coldstream Guards, which is, of course, the regiment that you were involved in your military career. Is that planned out? You ready to go with that?
Yeah, that's sort of going to be the end of the series, and would make a nice, neat, natural finish, where the various characters in the book find themselves rubbing shoulders with General George Monk and being part of his new regiment of foot as part of the new model army, which eventually became the Coldstream Guards, and that will be a nice point at which to finish the series. I've got a few novels to write before we get to that stage, but that's going to bring the series to an end. And it's a bit self-indulgent, but it entertains me.
I think that's one of the main things when people write. If they're interested in it and it's a driver for them, then that enthusiasm comes through in the writing itself.
Yeah, I think that's true, and certainly with my World War II series, there are lots of in-jokes in those books that most people will never ever suss onto. But there are certain people in this world who know that they're in there as a kind of comedy character that I've dropped in, and it entertains me while I'm writing. Because writing's a tough business, actually. It's hard putting words down on paper, and sometimes it can be a bit of a grind. So building in little things like that just make it a bit more entertaining for you as the writer, and it just lightens the workload a bit.
So with the other series that you've got your World War II stuff in Europe, in the Far East, your fantasy stuff and the Wars of the Roses. Can we look forward to any more additions to those books?
Yeah, I was on the verge of doing a fifth book for the World War II series, but I had that much, demand. When I come to Partizan, I meet readers and they all say, can you write about this? Can you write about that? And there is so much demand for an English Civil War novel. I decided to go with this first, just to stop people bending my ear at the show. But I have got another novel planned for the World War II series, and the fantasy book certainly has got another 2 books mapped out that I will eventually get round to. Like all these things, it's finding the time to get the words on paper.
So you heard it here first. If you come and badger Andy at the shows, he will write a book for you. So yeah, we were just mentioning there that this wargaming event coming up. Whereabouts is it and what's going on?
So it's at the South Yorkshire Museum on the 29th, 30th of November, and I think the idea is that I'm going to pop down on the Friday evening to speak to the people laying on the game, just talk about the concept of the book and where the scenarios came from and how I put it together. And then on the Saturday and Sunday, they're going to wargame 4 of the scenarios from the book on 2 really massive tables, and then finish it all with a giant tank battle and sort of reproduce the climax of the novel.
Yeah, that sounds like a superb event. Who's organising that?
So Mercian Miniatures, a guy called John. He's got quite a big team. I think there's about 20 of them who game together regularly, and he's put it all together. I actually met him at Partizan last time. He came up and said, are you happy that we do this and use your book? And of course I was over the moon. I was delighted. It's a dream come true to see your own novel turn into a war game. I'd aspired to do that myself 15 years ago, and I think I've painted up about 20 miniatures.
Well, I think the book itself is littered with potential scenarios anyway, and is that kind of where they've based their games on?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what they've done. And when I wrote the book, I was kind of halfway through it, and I thought, I feel like I'm writing a number of standalone scenarios here for wargaming. Yeah. And the fact that people have been able to sort of see that and pick them out of the novel and use them is great. So I think there's a real selection. There's going to be an amphibious beach landing. I think there's going to be a parachute landing around Driffield, a couple of big armour battles, and then I think there's going to be an urban scenario as well. So they're doing a real mix of the scenarios from the novel. It's going to be great.
Excellent. Well, hopefully a number of people will get down and have a look at that and grab onto your books and look forward to the new one coming out. Thanks for spending a bit more time with us today, Andy.
Thanks. Love to see you again, Ken.
Is it working? Yeah, it's working. I'm wandering around the games at Partizan, and I've come first to one of my old muckers, Roger Castle. How are you doing, Roger?
I'm very well, Ken, thanks. You?
Living the dream, as always. And what have we got on the table today, mate?
So this is the Polish-Soviet War, 1920. So we've got a meeting engagement between the Red Army and the Polish Army, with some sneaky anarchists about to pounce on everybody's flank.
It looks awesome, mate. And we were talking earlier on, and you were saying that you've expanded the size of the units with this, and it's cost you a few quid.
Yeah. So clearly the wife doesn't know about the extra mortgage I've taken out.
We won't mention that.
No. But I mean, we played the rules in the past and didn't pay a great deal of attention to unit organisation. It was more about having a bit of fun. So having realised that the organisation requires me to have 5 times as many figures, that's pretty much what I've done.
Yeah. So what set of rules are you using?
Triumph of the Will, which is one of the original Lardy sets of rules.
Yeah, because they're kind of similar to the Spanish Civil War stuff that I think we do, and also the If the Lord Spares Us, the World War One set.
Yeah, I think the nearest set is If the Lord Spares Us is very, very similar. I think If the Lord Spares Us is a much later and better organised version of these early rules.
Yeah, I think there's been some development over the years, but they're a great set, and I'm more familiar with If the Lord Spares Us, but they're very tightly set around that period. A Triumph of the Will, very similar.
Yeah, very much so, and it's, as the title suggests, it's all about the will to carry on. So it's very much around the number of figures in your units. Essentially represents their willingness to go forward and have a go at the enemy. The more casualties they take, the less willing they are, and so on. But yeah, it does, for me, gives you quite a good feel for the period. The cavalry is really interesting. Where obviously one of the things that attracts you is armoured cars, tanks, machine guns, aeroplanes, and cavalry.
Of course, everyone loves a good horse. So, just for the public, we've known each other for a very long time, mate. So, just give us a brief rundown of our history together.
I think we met, I would say, 31 years ago, roughly.
Very precise.
Very, and 3 months.
2 days, 27 minutes.
I just really got into Wargame. It was much more about painting for me. And at the time, my kids were very, very young. We didn't have a great deal of money. And unfortunately, you spotted some of my painting and decided that it was similar enough to your style that you could show me how to do it properly. And I could take commissions for you. So what came from that was, I guess, initially a working relationship where I learned my style, or developed my style of painting from yours, and then worked almost in partnership with you for a few years, which kept my kids in nappies. So thanks very much for that, Ken. But yeah, that's where it came from, I think.
Oh, that's lovely, mate. And you are still the only person I've ever commissioned painting from.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, thanks for talking to us today, Roger. Game looks absolutely superb, mate, and it's lovely to catch up with you.
You too, Ken. Take good care.
Cheers, mate. I'm wandering around the table and I keep bumping into former guests of the show. And I'm joined now by Chris Flowers. How are you doing, Chris?
Very well, thank you indeed. Very much so.
And what's your part in the show today?
For the first time ever, I'm not doing a game here.
Good man. You're helping out.
It's been 40 years. It's been 40 years doing demo games, and I've finished. That's it now. Just play now.
Is that you are definitely retired from the...
Probably from demo games, yeah, I think so, to be honest. It's simply, I don't think I've got the back anymore for carrying all the trays of bloody lead.
Did you not think of going into plastics and being able to move them easier?
No, I've never considered that, Ken. Never, ever, ever.
I shall wash my mouth out with a suggestion.
I think you should. Yeah, I think you should. I think that ranks with tea bags.
Yes, that's very true. Very true. So, yeah, you're still building your collections, though?
Yeah. I told my wife a year ago I was going to stop doing it, and she looked at me and said, "Where would you like to be buried?"
Well, you just can't give up, can you? It's, I think once you've got the bug, and bearers have been doing this for a very long time. You longer than me. We're still really enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, it's a great hobby. You meet great people, and you see lots of youngsters coming on and also enjoying it as well. It's fantastic.
And then you get some idiot shoving a microphone under your mouth.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Well, it's lovely to see you again, Chris. Thank you very much, mate.
Good to see you, Ken, as well.
I've just bumped into Martin Gane, president of the South London Warlords. Get it right. How's Martin doing, and what are you doing this far north?
I've got friends that live near here, so it's an easy journey for me to get to. I think it's a fabulous historical show. Really love it. Very original title for a second show. But no, you see games here you don't see anywhere else in the country. If you're into historical wargaming, yeah, it's a really good event. I love it.
Well, if you're from Yorkshire, you see, we save 2 letters and just have T'Other Partizan. We don't have a H and an E, so we save money on that. How's planning for next year's salute going?
It's looking very good. I think we're full on traders. We're still looking for a few games, but it's very encouraging. You know, it's a massive show. It's all about sort of promoting the hobby, and we're very pleased. Looking forward to seeing your game there.
Is that a reminder for me to send my application in, because I've forgotten so far?
Oh, you better send it in pretty quick, because we are running out of space. So, it's going very, very well. We're very happy. All the traders from last year have come back and said they want to come again, so they obviously got something out of it. But no, we're looking forward to it. As I said, it's all working very well.
And the feedback, certainly from my listeners, was pretty positive, really positive. And there was a really wide range of people there last year, really good demographics, not the sort of word that a Yorkshireman would use, but you know what I mean. How pleasing was that for you?
I think it's very pleasing. It's very inclusive. But as I said, it's all about involving people in the hobby and being open to all ideas and trying to encourage everyone to come with really diverse views. And I think Salute's been very successful at that. You can't compare it with other shows. I mean, 8,000 people is a lot, but it'd be great to get some of these fantastic games here at Partizan, historical, to come down to promote. This is what Wargames is all about, which I know you do a great job of, but we really like more games to come to say, look, showcase the hobby, what a wonderful hobby is. It's so entertaining, and you meet some great people.
Yeah, that's very true. And the talks that you've been doing for a couple of years now, they've been going really well. Is that something that's going to continue?
Yeah, I think they just go from strength to strength. I'm quite surprised how strong it was last year. I think we got double the attendees than we did the year before. That's what it felt like. There's a growing interest, and people enjoy it, and we're still perfecting it. Still a few little problems we need to overcome, but we're still perfecting it. But people enjoy it, and it's something else. It's something different that other shows can't offer because they just don't have the space.
Yeah, I think it's interesting and good to see that you are trying to develop and come up with new things, and then when you do, it's not just a plonk, there it is, right, we're doing it that way for 30 years, and trying to get it to work for everyone.
Absolutely, that's what Salute's all about now. We listen an awful lot, believe it or not, get a lot of feedback. We follow all the blogs and say, look, how can we do things better? And we're focused on improving every year. But as you said, trying to be inclusive, but it's all about promoting the hobby, not promoting the South London Warlords or promoting Salute. So how can we promote the hobby to more people? And I think we're doing that. Yeah, you're right, people do come in from the fantasy side, but then they see some of the great historical games that are put on, and they start asking questions. So how can I get into this? How can I do that? And that, for us, is what it's all about.
Yeah, I think it's a good showcase for all of the hobby. And, I'm obviously there doing my big game historical bit and hopefully bringing people into that. But it's about bringing everyone into the hobby and other people realising there are different aspects to it as well.
Absolutely. It's all about bringing those different aspects and showing people the diversity of the hobby and encouraging people to come in, because it doesn't matter what they're interested in. I was at an event the other day, and a woman came up to me and she said her husband had died about a year before, and she said Salute gave him enormous pleasure. He got great joy out of attending these things, as I do, attending these shows. And I think sometimes we forget that. We get into this insular wheel of what we're doing. It's all navel gazing, and actually, yeah, it brings a lot of fun. A lot of people enjoy it. I love it. All right, it's playing with toy soldiers, but A lot of people enjoy it. I love it. I love coming to the shows.
And I think that's a great sentiment to kind of finish our little bit on. Is the positivity of it. You know, I get negative comments. I'm sure Salute gets negative comments, but in general, I think it's a really positive hobby and a lot of people who support each other. And I look forward to coming to Salute next year.
Thanks very much. We look forward to you coming.
Cheers, Martin. Thank you. Moving around tables now, and we're at Midgard, Heroic Battles, and I'm speaking to the man himself, Mr. James Morris. How are you doing, James?
Hello, Ken. Very good, thank you. Bit of a cold, but it's a...
Excellent. Well, hopefully that won't come through on the recording. You've got a couple of games here that I'm looking at the moment. We've got a big Agincourt game and a smaller scale, dare I say, fantasy on this podcast. So what are you putting on here, mate?
So we will often like to run 2 Midgard games back to back to show that you can play it in fantasy and historical settings and in different scales. So at one end of the table you've got a petite but very nicely formed 6mm Gloranthan game, so set in Glorantha, the RuneQuest role-playing game background, with figures painted by Matt and Tom from our group, and we have, it's the Battle of Pavis for people who know Glorantha, but basically it's lots of fancy blokes with spells fighting each other. It works very nicely with Midgard, and nice about 6mm, of course, Ken, is every pipe block has to be at least 36 figures, because you can't cut
minimum.
strips up. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got that running one side. On the other side, we have our big game for today, the Battle of Agincourt. Seeing as we're coming up to the 610th anniversary on October 25th, Scripps came back from the US with his massive collection of 100 Years War figures. We thought we'd put it on. So it's quite a compact game. The fighting is across 5 foot, but it is pretty deep. And there is a lot of heroism and slaughter taking place at the moment. One of the French knights was shot out of his saddle by a longbow on the very first shooting of the game, which really set the tone for it so far. The Marshal of France is already dead, unfortunately, on turn 3.
That's a shame.
We'll see how it goes. Count of Vendôme has just been taken into captivity and is going back to Henry's tent for a chocolate hobnob and a cup of tea and a very expensive ransom deal. But yeah, it's been great fun, actually. It's been really enjoyable so far with our scenario tweaks just to make it work, because obviously, as you know, if you play Agincourt as a straight throwing on the table, the French kill everything, and that's the end of the game.
So Midgard's been out for a while now. It's won some award. It's doing really well. How is the kind of crossover between historical and fantasy side of it? Because it works for both.
It does.
But obviously, from my perspective, I see more historical players of it.
Fence,
I am very much on one side of the fence. So how's that working? How has the response been?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it's been out 11 months now. It feels like longer, but it's been out 11 months. People are still buying it every month, which is fantastic. And lots of people playing it. It's wonderful on the Facebook group to see people playing it around the world, chatting people to events and so forth. It's been very, very popular. How does the historical fantasy crossover work? Well, the combat mechanisms were very much based in kind of medieval warfare anyway in the first place. I mean, I'm a big Wars of the Roses enthusiast from years back, and the early medieval period, or Dark Ages to you, Ken. Dark Ages for you. So actually, a lot of the combat mechanisms were based in that in the first place. I wanted the game to have plausible big unit combat mechanisms where people got pushed into each other. More people died in the rout than in the hand-to-hand fighting, which is actually exactly what we've got going on in this muddy field in Agincourt at the moment. So, but the fantasy stuff, it is bolt on. You can, and it's very much down to the force list that you create for your settings. We've created quite specific force lists for this game. So Henry, for example, has the inspiring trait, which allows him to inspire his men and deliver speeches to support them in combat, which feels very much in keeping for the period, but there's no spells or anything. Yeah. By sharp contrast, we've made the French leadership shocking, not because they didn't have nice horses and doublets and castles and they weren't very brave men, but because the command and control what absolutely broke down on this day in France in October 1415. So we can represent that in Midgard by we've made all the French leaders level 1 or level 2, so champions or minor heroes in game parlance, whereas Henry is a level 4 legendary hero. the Duke of York is a level 3, so he has a much better quality of leadership across the battlefields compared to the French. And because we put in some extra rules for crossing the muddy field that make it harder for the French, because they've got a poor quality of leadership or control, I should say, on the day, then they're having a tougher time bringing all their forces to bear exactly as it should be, really.
So those people who aren't particularly familiar with the rules, it's more based around heroes or leaders. I think that's the two ways I would explain it, rather than the minutiae of how many fish scales you've got in your armour.
Yeah, the number of fish scales is not in the rules. I know you used to love that back in WRG, but no, you're absolutely spot on. The units are painted with a pretty broad brush, and there are traits that upgrade or downgrade the units, but we're not really worried who's got a falchion and who's got a sword. We're not worried into that kind of splitting of hairs. What it is about, because the units are painted with a broad brush, that allows you to play a fast narrative game where the heroes are the stars of the show. Now, having said that, the heroes are vulnerable. Like I said, we've had 2 hero deaths and a hero capture already in this game. They are not superheroes by any stretch of the imagination, but their leadership is essential to win the game. And indeed, the reputation tokens, the little glass pebbles we put in goblets or whatever to run the game with, you can add to your reputation with your heroes leading charges on single combats, that kind of thing. If you don't have any heroes, you can't gain reputation doing that. So that heroic leadership, that expectation you would lead from the front, and it's one reason very much why Henry V was such an effective leader, because he did get down the front. He did carry out what his men expected him to do, and although obviously in the press of the fighting he'd have a strong bodyguard around him, he was out there and he was very publicly making the statement on the field of Agincourt that the king wasn't doing it, the Dauphin wasn't doing it, and he was harder than a lot of you basically, and he did it.
I think it's remarkable, not only in this period of history, but people like Alexander the Great as well, who led from the front, who led by example.
Yeah.
And quite often you'll read books about them and go, how the fucking hell did you survive?
Well, there was Alexander was wounded, 5 times or something, wasn't he? But it's always fascinating that Alexander was basing his leadership style on Achilles, a legendary or otherwise hero we don't know. But I think there's a real thing that doesn't get modelled very much in rule sets for this period, is the mindset of the leaders in that heroic leadership culture, that they were expected to be up front. And you see this, we played Bosworth a few weeks ago at Tamworth Castle, and Richard III's charge at Bosworth makes way more sense within the framework of Midgard, because if your reputation is fading, if it's not going too well for you, then throwing in charges with your leaders is the best thing to do. Yeah. And it's even better if the leader is your army commander and they're charging someone like Henry Tudor. Yeah. So these actions kind of drive the game, and the reputation system encourages to do things that people in their cosy 21st century risk-averse lives wouldn't do, but you will do in a war game, and it encourages that behaviour rather than that micromanagement of, I'm just going to hold these back to see if I can stop this command from breaking or whatever. It's get in there, charge them in the face and see if you can win it man to man.
That sounds like my type of battle, or my type of warfare.
No,
I will do, mate, and we'll need to do a proper full episode as well. But thanks very much for spending some time with us today, James. Congratulations to the rules.
Thank you.
Next year is the return of the World Cup of War Games rules. So Midgard will be in there fighting against Sharp Practice and Chain of Command.
Is it historical rules?
Because it says historical legendary, I'm going to let you in.
Thank you. It is, and as you can see, we're playing Agincourt today in a very historical fashion. Yeah. So thank you very much for letting me in. I look forward to the furore on social media and being dumped out in the first round of the penalty shootout.
And I look forward to the check.
Thank you, Ken. Great to talk to you.
Cheers, thank you.
Oh, brilliant.
I'd be embarrassed to hold that.
Very professional.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed holding this.
Do you give it a lick every now and again?
This is the biggest microphone in the world. I'm joined by former guests, and fucking they'll never be on the show again. Lee and Ray, how are you doing, guys?
Not too bad. Very well, thank you. Very well.
Excellent. So, travelled up from London today?
From Kent, not London.
I keep forgetting.
Further south.
Kent.
Bit further south.
It's fucking south of the fucking avocado fucking line.
I know. Get past coming to Dagenham and pick me up, but We assumed we were heading to Newark because we couldn't see anything in the fog. But
Yeah, I've never driven in so much fog in my life.
Well, it was the same coming from the north, so
but it's been worth it. Brilliant day. The games are brilliant as always. So.
excellent. Salute you guys. Sorry, not salute. I've just spoke with some Martin Gane from Salute. That's why I've got it in my head. Partizan, great show twice a year. You guys always make the effort to come here. What is it about this show, Lee, that brings you here?
It's just the tables. The quality of the games on display is the best. It's just eye-watering, beautiful, inspirational.
Ray, yourself?
What Lee said, you just walk around and you just don't know where to look. You've got excellent games every single way, left, right, up, down. There's not a dodgy looking game here at all.
I think from our side of the hobby, the historical bigger game side of the hobby, this is the kind of the mecca for it, really.
Yeah, not a lot of fantasy.
Lots of big battles.
Were you chuntering about big games on your channel recently again?
I might have been.
I think he's upset a few people, isn't he?
I don't know. I've not watched it yet. I do apologise. I'm just about to retire, and it's made work even worse. So, what was your idea on this particular?
I was just looking at where certain games might be pointing the hobby in the direction of skirmish games, accessibility, people with small houses and small pockets. However, I'm a big battles gamer, albeit in 6mm, so I'm hoping there's still room for that, and I think there probably will be. So that was essentially the crux of the video that I put out a couple of weeks ago, which went a little bit nuts. There was a lot of people commented on that, so it was really good.
Do you know what I call them?
Go on then.
Lazy people.
Poor people. Poor people.
Yeah, if you can't afford to come in this hobby, why bother?
Well, no, do it in 6mm, then you can have massive battles and not use a lot of space.
Do it in 2mm like I did.
Oh, yeah, that's
even
crackers.
better.
The 1812 Snowy project,
Yes.
the importation of large quantities of white powder.
Yes.
Has that reached the table yet?
It's not reached the table yet. We're hoping to get something on the table at the end of the year. There's a few more bits and pieces we need to do, make a few trees and tree bases, but we are 99.9% there.
It's just a few bits of terrain, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're done. Originally, we were only going to do eight units a side. We're on about 25 plus each.
Yes.
So I think we've done enough figures.
You're on the right show for
We're going
that.
to stretch this set of rules to absolute breaking point.
We will break
So we
it.
just need the terrain now in equally stupid quantities.
These are the sorts of things that we like to talk about on this show.
We're all mental, aren't we? We can't help it. We can't help it.
Well, it's brilliant to see you two guys again. There's always a smile on your face, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you very
nice to
much.
see you again, mate.
Cheers, guys. Wandered into another former guest, as we are all going around the show. So, welcome, Simon Miller. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's a great show as always. I think Partizan is fantastic.
It is. It's everyone. As soon as anyone says Partizan, you just go, fantastic show.
I was just chatting with a guy who'd come from Genoa
Wow.
via Manchester to come to Partizan.
That is fantastic. That is
I mean,
fantastic.
That's terrific.
So what's the story today, mate? What are you involved in?
Well, today I'm working with Steve Metheringham. We're playtesting my coming Lust for Glory rules, which are my new horse and musket set, using his beautiful 40mm Prince August semi-flats. Big army. I mean, you can't see them, but they are terrific. Very toy soldier, very old school.
I have to say I'm getting quite excited looking at them because
Yes.
they remind me of my youth when I used to cast Prince August.
People of a certain age, their eyes are glazing when they see them. You can see their tears are welling up.
I have told the story before on the show about me accidentally setting fire to my mum's shed whilst doing these.
Ah, so the last guy I was chatting to was talking about how he'd upset his mum by destroying her kitchen with smoke and splatters of lead everywhere. It sounded like a medieval siege. He was describing rather than home casting.
Yeah, I think health and safety was definitely in the back of our minds in those days.
What's health and safety? What's health and safety? Yeah, we've got some of the equipment out for the casting here, and to show how we do it. It all looks a bit high tech for me. I'd still want to get it on one of the rings of my cooker, but now you've got things with preset temperatures. Presumably, it must be somewhat safer these days.
Yeah, I think
which takes some of the fun out of it, doesn't it? Really,
it does. There's an element of excitement that comes with danger, and I'm pretty sure I used to. My mum was a science teacher, and I'm pretty sure I used a Bunsen burner in the shed.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, no. I think we're going to do some home casting as well, not for this but for a different project, and I'm looking forward to doing some of that again. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I think if you look at outside, I think if you look at the great Japanese sword artists that they make and deal with metal by the colour and the feel and the taste, so none of this pre-set temperature rubbish.
Yes, yeah, no, I agree. Yes, it ought to be done by instinct. But it's going very well today. Here the figures are moving fast over the table there, as is ever the case. I can see the Prussians. We're doing Kolin, 1757. The Prussians are almost at the crest of the hill there. The white-clad Austrians are defending the hill line. It looks like their reserves are coming up. It could get a bit sticky for the Prussians fairly soon. I don't think it was a good day for the Prussians, Kolin.
No, it's...
People have been telling me it didn't go entirely well.
There seems to be a hole in the middle of the Austrian... Oh, two holes in the middle of the Austrian line.
But I am reliably informed there are several more boxes of Austrians under the table. So it may well be that there's going to be a little bit of a surprise for the Prussians coming up soon.
The old under the table reinforcement trick.
And I was really excited to see that the players are using the new smoke rules that I've included as a mechanism, a sort of friction mechanism. Having had them out for about 6 months, I'd given up hope that anyone was ever going to use them in the heat of action. But they do seem to be using them. I'm going a little bit misty-eyed to see the smokes, the plumes of smokes arising over the battlefield. People seem to be picking it up. And lots of stuff has died, which is always a good sign, I think.
Yeah, you always like to have a little bit of space on the table.
Absolutely. This side of the table was packed with cavalry earlier. All died in an hour. We've got players coming this afternoon to take over. They're all going to have to spring back to life. So otherwise, we can't have everything dead.
Yeah.
Reinforcements will arrive, I'm sure.
So how's things in general with the rules? Like you kindly sent me the book on Ireland and the English Civil War, War of the Three Kingdoms, and give that a really positive review. I think it's a fantastic book.
Thank you. They've been popular. I love the books. The guys, the Celtic Fringe crew, did a fantastic job with those.
Yeah.
I've just had my head down for since July last year writing this new set. I've got 32,000 words written now. Wow. I'm on version 22. And we'll probably hit, the way it's going, I'll probably hit version 40 by the time they're published. My plan is to get a PDF version out by Salute, a basic PDF version with all the rules. People can then play it, and then when the inevitable feedback comes through, there's bound to be something I'll have forgotten or new mechanisms people will suggest. Yeah. I'll produce a final version with a print book about 6-7 months after that. So I think if I can get the PDF out by Salute, hopefully I'll be able to do the print version by Christmas.
Excellent.
And it's really exciting for me because, I mean, I've done the English Civil War before, but now I'm doing everything. We've got light infantry with rifles. Gosh, you know about that. All sorts of things. I've learned so much. I mean, we could have a really tedious conversation about artillery. I could do that. I could now blather on about artillery for about 2 hours. Yeah. I reckon, from what I've learned whilst researching the rules. And but it's really exciting. I mean, it's like whole new vistas for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops with the increase in gunpowder.
I should have a nice big game at Salute as well. A nice pretty game at Salute.
I'll probably have one as well, so I won't be able to see you. It's like last year where we were just a different end. Very briefly.
We saw each other. I was quite inspired by your game, actually. I definitely have some ideas for taking the game on further in history after the 1790s to do the sort of the fairly linear warfare that you've got in Italy and the American Civil War. I'd like to try and do that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's another story.
No worries. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Simon.
It's always lovely chatting with you, Ken.
Thanks very much, mate, and good luck with the new rules.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. We are now at the absolutely fantastic Joe Bilton water tanker table. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm very good, very worn out, but it's only lunchtime, so I better keep going.
I did approach earlier, but it was absolute madness. How many people did you have around the table earlier on?
Well, it's 8-player, but there was like maybe 15 people around the table, plus 8 players, plus my helpers. So it's
a full on. It's a full on.
Yeah.
You're looking tired already, mate, and you've got the afternoon to do.
No, it's only lunchtime, and I'm like, oh man, I've been talking because it's 8 players and it's like a rolling game. It means that there's no actual break.
Yeah.
Right. So like someone dies, a new player takes over. So, but it works really well.
Have you got like a queuing system for new people coming in?
Like, yeah. You look interested. Come and play, or come back in a minute when someone dies. So.
Yeah. So obviously this is an audio podcast. So just describe to the listeners what we've got on the table here.
So this is a 15 foot by 5 foot table of Gane during Operation Charnwood. It focuses on the St Pierre Église Church in North Gane, which gets bombed, and the area gets bombed around it. And it's playing water tanker. So it's basically Shermans and Panthers battling out in the rubble-filled streets, and there's lots of rubble in the streets.
So is this the game that you had at Salute?
Yes. Yeah, my Salute game, yeah.
So I seem to remember at that on that table there was some pretty shite tanks like with the Mark 5 Stuarts kicking around.
No one's taken it yet, all right? The Stuart is there, the Honey is over there, but no one has chosen it yet. Hasn't become that desperate yet. I
think you're a brave man who does that, but also there should be you should have like a Mark 5 Stuart medal for people.
Well, I reckon they want a quick game. I've only got 2 minutes. I'll take the Stuart.
So what's future plans coming up, mate, for games?
My next thing is the Battle of Montcornet in France, 1940. Big Charles de Gaulle inspired tank battle. Water tanker again, but this time in North France. So essentially like the same sort of landscape as Normandy, except the buildings are brick buildings and they're squatter, and there'll be like lines of poplar trees and stuff.
Is that ongoing at the moment? Are you building that up?
Well, it's sort of been on pause over a busy summer of like work and stuff. The terrain is basically done, the buildings aren't, and the tanks are all primed ready to go. So it's a Christmas job, really.
Looking forward to seeing it. And will that be ready for Salute next year?
Yes. Yeah, that's the plan. Hearts are Large first though, which is in March.
Well, you enjoy yourself, mate. Have a lie down because you need it.
What, in the afternoon? I'm not playing now. I'm lying under the table. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we shall. It's fantastic to see you again, mate, and an absolutely brilliant looking table. Real credit to you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Thanks, mate. All right. It's working. So we have wandered round to another table, and we are with the League of Augsburg and Mr. Barry Hilton. How are you doing, Barry?
I'm very well. A little bit hoarse today, a little bit of talking today, so I'm just happy to be here as usual.
Excellent, and just tell us a little bit about the game that you've got on.
Well, it's a bit of a mashup, War of the Spanish Succession mashup. I just want to get this in. I never call it the Malburian period because that's just so Anglo-centric. It's a European war. Anyway, it's a
nothing wrong with Anglo-centric.
Yeah,
I'll just put that in.
Yeah, thanks for that. So it's about 1704, 1705. Could be Germany, could be sort of southern Holland or somewhere. And we've just got the Grand Alliance led by John Churchill against the French.
Excellent. And is this the new version of Beneath the Lily Banners?
It is indeed, although I haven't got the book yet. It's still on its way from the printer. It won't be here until probably end of next week. But we're using the rules today, yeah, so in the proto version, if you like.
Is that the big pile of paper there that's not quite a book?
Actually, that's a wee flyer.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, that's a wee flyer advertising the book.
It's not quite here yet.
And this is the last outing of the old book, which is over there. The last
Excellent.
copy that I've got, I don't have any other copies.
Can I just say, Barry, that I have bought that previous copy and not played it yet, and there's another version out.
Shame on you, Ken. Shame on you. You're doing too many projects. That's your problem.
So just for people who maybe have got previous versions of the rules, what are the kind of big highlighted differences between the new and the old?
Fundamentally, it's the same system. Updated, refreshed, and a little bit slimmed down. Some of the mechanics have tweaked just to make them a little bit more intuitive. But if you're playing Lily Banners just now, the rules haven't changed fundamentally. It's the same system, but the new book looks very smart.
And has that come through customer feedback or through playtests from yourselves?
A bit of both, I would say, but also the fact the rules have been around now for about 15, 16 years, and they've been played to death in the respect that there's nothing much can happen that hasn't already happened, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've now acted on some of the things that have happened to make sure that the current rules are as current as they possibly can be, taking in all the feedback to consideration, I think.
Lovely to see, and not here today, but you've got a bit of a naval thing going on as well?
That's my passion at the moment, yeah. Well, I know you have as well. Your ships are slightly bigger than mine, but and very, very nice they are. Yeah, we've got, I'm working on a new set of rules right now. It's written, play-tested to death as usual. It'll be a hardback book at some point next year. It'll work entitled Dreadnought because the rules are called Dreadnought, but it does span from end of the 19th century to the end of the Second World War, with amendments for each of the phases and the eras, if you like. So pre-Dreadnought era, Great War era, Second World War era.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I think you put a post up saying anybody wants to play Jutland, and I was very tempted to say again.
Yeah, well, you have played Jutland. I saw your Jutland game as well. Yeah. So you're just gazumping me all the time here, Ken. No, but actually, we will do. Colin and I will do Jutland. We've done it already, and we know that it's doable in a day.
Yeah.
If you do it right, and if you kind of play it more or less to history, you can do it in phases rather than a continuous game. So yeah, we're going to try and get a group together to do that. Yeah, we do it in 4800.
Yeah, is that your own range of ships? Yeah. Who put those together?
What? Who designed them?
Yeah,
it's a guy from Yorkshire. You'll be pleased to know.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, he's a very talented man. And he has designed all the 4800 scale ships, and he designed some of the 1200s that we sell, including the ancient ones and the Renaissance ones. So he's a very prolific individual.
They certainly are a credit. I'm a big ship fan, as many people will know, and they do look the business.
Yeah, I get a wee bit of work, but not as much work as, I've got loads of Langton. I love Langton stuff, but you really have to be dedicated to do Langton ships, because they're a bit fiddly, but they're lovely when they're finished. These are a bit more easy to put together and paint, which is what a lot of gamers want these days. It's fast gaming.
Yeah, I'm all mine in GHQ. I'm still paying them off.
Oh, really? Well, good luck to you. Yeah, the GHQ are nice as well, but you do need a sort of large bank balance to buy those.
Well, when we were first putting it together, I said, no, I'm not going to do Jutland, and a friend of mine, Andy, who's here today, said, well, I'll buy all the British battleships, and I was kind of locked in a corner then.
He's a good mate.
He is a very good mate. He's
not a Yorkshireman spending all that money, is he?
He is, would you believe?
Oh, bloody hell. See, just proving that cliches are only cliches, aren't they? But not reality. No,
thanks very much, Barry. I'd love to have you in the show sometime for a full episode, if that's okay.
That, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, nice to talk to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, mate.
See you later.
Cheers, thank you. Serious podcast,
Oh, that's good.
Wandering around the show and bumping into people that I've met before, and my next guest was on a panel with myself at Salute a few years ago. So how are you doing, young man?
All right, thank you very much.
Kev Dallimore, I didn't introduce you there.
Right, yeah.
I do apologise. No. Well, from an audio podcast, it's never easy to spot.
Yeah.
So what's your involvement in the show today, just a punter?
Brutally, I came up because some friends were coming up, and also I had some stuff to drop off to Nick, and some stuff to pick up from Nick, who I work for North Star.
Oh, brilliant! So you
placement there. Sorry about that. But yeah, that was No, it's not the only reason. Coming up and look at the lovely games, of course, but mostly because somebody else was coming and I got a lift in their car.
That's always a good way, a cheap lift. I do like that. So, are you mostly working for North Star now, or have you got other stuff on the go as well?
Work. It's mostly for Nick, yeah, because I just don't have time to do much else, to be honest. Which is nice, but it keeps you busy, sort of thing. But yeah, and it's good stuff to do. It's good fun to do.
When we were at Salute, we had a quick chat, and we were talking about painting styles and paintbrushes and all that sort of really, really exciting stuff. Has your painting style changed much over recent years, or have you kind of stayed with the tried and tested?
It's kind of... It's the same, but it's different, which sounds a peculiar thing to say. But it's still based on layers of, shade, middle, highlight, except I probably do more layers than I used to. And I hope my stuff's a little bit more subtle than it used to be, maybe. That's what I'm told, but maybe people are just being nice to me. I don't know. I think poor old man, he needs to be. But I hope so. Yeah, but if you'd read the only books I've done, which were the ones for Foundry, that all still stands up. That's still what I do. Except I might do more layers or I might do less, but it's still broadly the same principle.
Yeah, I think that's what people will remember you or know you for, is that classic Foundry style.
Yeah. Although it hasn't stopped me using speed paints or doing other stuff as well. But when when Nick wanted that figure of was he King? Is he King William of Orange anyway?
Yeah.
I didn't do that in speed paints. Nick wants it done, properly, as it were. Not that there's anything wrong with speed paints. I use them a lot to get armies on the table, frankly. But when I'm trying hard, that's what I'll do. I'll go back to the layering and the stuff that I've always done since probably 40 years now. So.
Yeah, so any development is kind of a glacial one, and when it works for you.
Yeah, except for, like I say, the use of things like speed paints, which I've found just so useful for, when I don't want to spend years getting an army on the table. Well, you know what it's like.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know how you lot do. You do huge things, don't you, with like hundreds of ships, and I'm looking at them going, oh my God, how is that even possible?
Yeah, I still use the old, very much the three shade technique, Foundry technique as a basis, and I think like yourself there, I've added different techniques in over the years, but when you paint for money, as I used to do many years ago, you develop a speed.
Yeah, you have to.
Because you're not going to pay the gas bill if you're doing one figure a day.
No, when you're being paid by the figure, it's hard work. It just is hard work. People don't realise. I know it's get out my tiny violin, but it is, when you're being paid by the figure, it's just gruesome. And more power to the people that manage to do it. I'm lucky that that I work for somebody who's prepared to carry on letting me do what I do. But it's just hard work.
Well, I can't speak to one of the best-known painters in the hobby without bringing up a couple of things.
Yeah, go on. I dread to think.
No. Wet pallets. Your thoughts on those?
I've never used them.
Good man.
Well, it's not because I hate them or anything. It's not the sort of painting I do, so I don't blend stuff and never have. So I've been required to learn a whole nother skill, and I've just never done it.
Yeah, they're very. So, would you say that your style is more about colour placement and the contrast between the different layers?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and just the building up of layers. Yeah, and like you say, you can do 3 layers, or you can do 2, or you can do 6, depending on what you're trying to achieve.
And do you have a favourite paintbrush maker?
Yes. Well, the ones I've still got a lot of and I use are foundry brushes. But there's also, I can't remember the name of them. No, you'll have to come back to me, I can't remember.
It's not Pro Art, is it?
Yeah, Pro Art, yeah, thank you.
It's all right. The manager of Pro Art's a friend of mine, so...
Oh, right, yeah, no, they're very good brushes and really cheap in comparison to some.
Yeah.
And just nice. And I get through quite a lot, but I don't know what they're like, 2 or 3, £4 a brush.
Yeah, they're
not £12 a brush or something, which I just couldn't afford. The rate I get through them.
You can afford to wreck a couple every now and again, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. And also what I do is I stage them out. As the brushes get worn, they get used for different things as they go down the line, and then I get a nice new one for doing faces or eyes or something that's still got a good point.
Yeah.
And then the other good thing about them is for using with speed paints, because once they're knackered, you can use them for speed paints, which destroys brushes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if they're already on the scrap heap anyway. They're good enough for that because you're not doing the fine, pointy detail.
Yeah.
And you can use up all your old brushes doing that. So it's very handy.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, Kev. It's been lovely to chat with you.
You, Ken. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Sure we're working first. Right, and I'm now at the Black Hawk Down table with Eagles and Lions. No. Like a Stonewall Wargames group. Right, so with Eagles and Lions' very own Tim Whitworth. You all right, Tim?
Hi there, how's things?
Very good, mate, very good. So what have we got on the table today?
What you've got today is a third Afghan war scenario. It's entitled Black Hawk Down 1919. What it basically is the events of 30th of July 1919 during that war when there was an unfortunate incident involving a plane from 20th Squadron, which was an attached reconnaissance plane to a column who'd been investigating a mass gathering of Afghan tribesmen of about 4,000 in number who were thought to be aiming in the direction of Bannerman Fort. As luck would be, or not, as the plane was making its reconnaissance, a Pukki Afghan Jazailman let loose and managed to wing the pilot one shot in the lung.
Oh, bless.
Passed out, partially lost control of the plane, recovered consciousness and managed to ground it in a dry riverbed. Much to the dissatisfaction of his navigator, who had 3 teeth knocked out in the incident as well. The column that was effectively investigating the gathering that the plane had been undertaking reconnaissance for was mainly comprised of 22nd motorised machine gun battery, who were strange lads because they've got all their motorbikes armed with machine guns.
Oh, good lads.
Yeah. And so we've had some of those to be built as well. They're on the table. But seeing the plane go down, they thought they'd better change their objective and see if they could prevent the Afghan tribesmen nicking the bombs and the ammunition and the Vickers guns on the plane. And it's a true story. There's a book called Action at Bannerman Post.
Oh yes, I can see copies there.
Who is a great grandson, if I remember right, or grandson of Bill Macro. Sorry, not Lucas. Macro.
Yeah.
Bill Macro, who was a sergeant leading the detachment of motorcycle gunners, and he's charged with actually not only fending off the Afghans with the machine gun section, but actually going down into the ravine himself with a couple of Indian militiamen and recovering the guns and the ammunition and the bombs himself, and got it away safely, and got away both air crew in their ambulance that they got with them.
I hope there was tea and medals.
There was tea and biscuits, I think. Yeah, and occasionally a chapati as well.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, so we're reflecting on that. So it's very strange. The title of the game, I'd got this in the back of my mind. The fact that it was very similar to the film of the name of Somalia. But strangely, when I started to do the research for the artwork for the poster, I looked up 20th Squadron's badge, and bizarrely it's a Black Hawk.
Wow.
And it just wrote itself. It just became Black Hawk Down 1919. So here it is,
Fantastic, and you're we've known each other for a while, and you're a lover of the big game.
It's a small by our reckonings.
And you put on a big Waterloo game recently. How did that go?
Oh, that was phenomenal. I mean, all credit in the main to my colleague in Like a Stonewall group, Barry Foster, and also aided comfortably by Martin in the team as well. They took a bit of the lion's share of the work as far as admin was this year. Barry, though, had done the majority of painting for that. Every unit was represented on a tabletop. A massive 36-foot long table, 24 players, 6 umpires, a full weekend, and Barry painted most of the stuff that was on that table. It's been 5 years in the reckoning. He's finally realised his dream. He wanted to do that. I don't know what we're going to be doing next. So it's pretty good.
But you kind of had places in the game open for people to come along. It was a small charge, but it was very, very reasonable.
Yeah, it was indeed. I mean, there are obviously institutions out there and organisations that do this as a regular thing, and we no way do we intend to tread on anybody's toes there. But it's such a thing that if you're going to do that project, you've got to get other people involved in it. It's just too big to try and do it within a small group. And we were asked, had we'd done these things before, whether we would put it far and wide, which we did do, and we made a nominal charge for it, which covered obviously phenomenal cost to hire a hall that size. And yeah, so it was nice. Everybody was happy at the end of the day. We got the game played, and it was a British win.
Always good to hear.
Well, yeah, but victory snatched from the jaws of defeat, if not the case. Yeah, the French did actually break through the ridge on the in actual refight. So, but they were slowly but surely outnumbered as the British brought their right flank troops round. And there was some hesitance on behalf of one or two French commanders around Hougoumont as well. That helped.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for your time, Tim. Great to see you around putting another great game on at Partizan, and I'm sure I'll see you next year.
We'll be back on the circuit again next year, and I'm not telling you what we're doing yet.
Oh, top secret. I'm wandering around and I keep bumping into people and they're having a break, so I'm going to annoy them. So we're here with Mark Backhouse. How are you doing, Mark?
Yeah, good, thank you, Ken. How are you?
I am living the dream as always. So you are not quite as tiny as normal.
No.
You've gone big.
Well, not as big as you, Ken. Not as big as you. Yeah, we've gone for the Warlord Epic scale today, so it's 13.5mm figures. We've had too many old age pensioner gamers out there, unfortunately, struggling to see the 2mm figures. And
understandable.
Understandable, but you can see the formations in 2mm, which you can't see in 13.5mm properly, really. So we've compromised a little bit to try and show a gaming strength and honour with bigger figures and show how it can be used in lots of different scales, basically.
Excellent. And are you responsible for the sea bit as well as the land bit?
Yeah, so I'm running both the games. We've got an experimental game of strength and honour, a naval version at the moment, which is something I'm loosely playing around with and having lots of fun with. And today we're doing a battle of 47 BC in Alexandria Harbour with Caesar's Roman fleet versus some Ptolemaic claimants to the throne around the Pharos Island in Alexandria Harbour. So we're playing around with that.
And that is a perfect example of how good naval wargaming is for terrain. You've got a flat sheet and a little tower in the middle.
Well, exactly that. It's like no expense spared. We've got a beautiful backdrop that Ken's looking out at like it's his Egyptian holiday dream.
That's lovely. That. Have you been watching that bloke on telly with the knives and the oil paint? Bob, I can't remember his name now.
I know the one you mean, the American guy.
American guy.
No, I haven't.
It's one of his, that.
It's a photograph, that one there, so it's just a photograph, just uploaded online, 15 quid, nice backdrop, bit of fame. Jobs are good, mate.
Nice, that's what we like to see. You've also got some Sydney Roundwood memorabilia on sale.
Well, we like to excite our punters with a visual stimulation. And the 2mm figures are often maybe not so visually stimulating for some, so a picture of Sydney often just sets them off in the right direction.
Has somebody painted his teeth white, or are they really that white in real life?
Of course they're really that white. How dare you challenge that of you? He went to Turkey especially for them, so yeah.
I can imagine it. I don't know whether he's had anything else done, but them teeth look amazing.
They do, don't.
So Strength and Honour have been out for probably a few years now. How's it going in general?
4 years now. Yeah, it's doing well. Sales rate are just slow and steady, basically. It seems to be slowly converting people. You know, as they get to actually play it and they get past that initial bias of it's too small for me.
Yeah.
And then once they start playing it, they enjoy it and they seem to be really hooked on it. So, yeah, it's going well. It's been a slow, steady burner, really.
Excellent. Well, the World Cup of Wargaming rules is up again next summer.
Yeah.
So good luck in that.
Not a hope, mate. But you know, we'll be like the Chile, maybe the outsiders. You know, you never know. We might get a few votes in there.
If you get drawn in the same group as Scotland, you'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Yeah. Cheers, Ken. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers, mate. You know what? I'm just going to press record. Fuck it. Rich Clark is here from Two Fat Laddies. Hello, Rich.
Hello, mate. How are you, Ken? Good to see you.
Very good. And also we've got
Alex, Storm Steel.
And Ian, how you doing? Flags of War.
So this is like Brews in the Vineyard, but with more drink. And we've just been talking, Rich has been regaling us with tales of doing podcasts after 10 pints of lager. And do you want to tell us the rest of it?
I'm perfectly happy to, if you like, mate.
No.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Neil at Meeples and Miniatures, and he phoned me up, and he said, "Are you having a problem logging on to the to record the podcast?" And I was in a boozer, half a mile from home. So I thought, oh Christ, I've forgotten about this, but I couldn't let him know because he'd be upset. So I had to run home. And it was like that Billy Connolly thing where he's talking about those rubber trousers which are full of whatever liquid, and I could hear it sloshing as I ran to get home. And but I got home and we did the podcast. And I don't want to tell you the other bit.
You don't want to talk about the lemonade bottle.
I don't want to talk about the lemonade bottle. No.
I can see he's looking a bit worried about the lemonade bottle.
No, it was more the issue was the PSI pressure that built up and the noise that a lemonade bottle makes under stress. But we won't go there.
These are the sorts of stories you don't get on other podcasts, I'm going to have to say. So, Alex, have you been doing the usual thing of filming?
Yeah, I have. I've only been here about an hour and a half so far. What time is it now? It's half one, isn't it? Yeah, I got here late. But I've been walking around with my little gimbal that Richard recommended to me.
That looks very, very bijou and compact.
Yes.
He's got a camera smaller than your mic.
Yeah.
I'll put a picture on, but my microphone looks like a giant erection. It's absolutely fucking massive.
Got it from the 1970s.
It's the Jimmy Savile car boot sale. After Jim had gone, Ken nipped round there and got all his spare stuff out the garage. I bet you edit that out.
I won't. Don't worry. Nothing gets edited out of my show. This is a Reporter Pro podcast microphone. I just don't know why it's so fucking big. We've also got Ian here from Flags of War.
Yep, how he's doing? Just been walking around. It's quite quiet this year in comparison.
Do you
think it's busier?
I think it's massively busy. Yeah, when I came in, it was still heaving.
It's got a bit quieter now, but up to 10 minutes ago, we were still selling at 1 o'clock. Normally, people stop buying at midday, so it's still ongoing.
Maybe the fog just stopped everyone coming in earlier then.
It's not ideal, actually. It's not ideal, actually, because my daughter covers the stand all morning. And then at 12 o'clock I say, why don't you go and get some lunch now? And she does, and nobody comes and buys anything off me. But this year I had to work for the whole hour.
Shocking earning a living.
I know.
Terrible. As long as I'm not asking questions about chain of command.
Yeah, it's all right.
So anyway, chain of command.
Bolt action rules the chain of command.
Flags of War, we were talking about the famous bodyguard of Body Prince Charlie on the last podcast,
right,
and how they were going to be an 87-figure unit.
Yeah.
Have they been released yet?
No, not yet. So we've got about 12 packs coming out. We just did the new Border Wars ranges that are new packs went on sale last week and they're pretty much sold out. And then I've got about 12 new packs for the Jacobites coming out next week, more likely.
Excellent.
Including French cavalry, but it's not the lifeguard. Yeah.
Don't forget, me and Alex are waiting for the lifeguard.
Yeah, you'll get the lifeguard.
Holding my breath for it.
Just need to get the sculptor's time.
Excellent. So last time I had Rich on the show, we got a complaint from somebody about us talking about random items of female underwear. So just to kind of end this little bit, I am going to say gusset.
No, I honestly can't. I can't respond to that. I don't know, what would you like me to say? Big bras? Big bras?
Pants.
Suspenders.
Oh, nice one to finish there on the end there. So if the person who is going to complain, because you always fucking complain, you knobhead, there we go. There's 4 random pieces of female underwear.
Brilliant. Well done. Thanks, guys. Is that it? We're done. We're done. Thank for that.
Oh, it's working. Don't worry, Steve, it's working. We're back at the Polish Civil War game, and another one of my former guests, Mr. Steve Shan. How are you doing, sir?
I'm okay, thanks, Ken. How are you?
I am living the dream, and since we last spoke, you've done the wonderful thing that I'm about to do, and you've retired.
Oh, I certainly have, and I can thoroughly recommend it.
Excellent, mate. And have you been wasting your time painting toy soldiers?
I've done very little else, to be honest. Very little else. I'm ashamed to say. It's like that. I haven't really retired at all, but it's all for me now.
And that's the main thing, isn't it? It's all for you and all of your enjoyment.
I think my collection's almost doubled in the last 6 months.
Excellent. Now you were talking about 24-figure French regiments, and I think you've changed your mind and gone bigger.
I have, yeah. I've gone to 32, which is a bit of a weird number for the French, but yeah, just to keep it consistent. But they look a lot better.
So is that going to be like your standard size across the Napoleonic era now, with 32s?
Yeah, I think it is, because I'm using homebrew rules, and a unit's representing about 1,200 men, so it's not a battalion as such. So yeah, even Austrians will probably be 32s.
Excellent. And are you going deep into that Napoleonic period again, as you have done in the past?
Now I've got more time, yeah. I've got very little excuse. I was shocked to find I've got 2,500 unpainted figures on my shelves.
Wow, where were they hiding?
They were hiding from the wife mainly, but no. I just accumulated them over the years when I didn't have enough time to paint, and I had no idea I had that many. I was genuinely appalled when I saw how many there were.
Well, it's wonderful to see the collection growing, and just remind us of your blog site.
Blog site, it's Nations in Arms is the name of it. So if you Google that, you'll find it easily enough.
And you regularly put new stuff on there, new units as they build them.
Yeah, I try to. I mean, I've got less excuse now for not finding time, but yeah, I don't update it as much as I'd like to. But yes, I'm hoping to update it a lot more regularly, especially with after-action reports and more war game-oriented stuff, not just units I've painted.
Lovely. And are you building to a particular battle or order of battle or year within the Napoleonic Wars? Have you got a target?
Yeah, it's centred really on the 1813 campaign, so it's French and Russians, which I've got a decent sized force now, building Prussians at the moment, and then French allies. You know what Napoleonic's like, it's never ending.
It's one of those, when you open the door, the room just gets bigger.
Yeah, I just wish my cellar could get bigger, but yeah, I'm rapidly running out of space, but yeah, I'll manage.
Fantastic, Steve. Lovely to talk to you again, mate. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. Right, we're later on the show now, and I've taken this opportunity when it's got a bit quiet to bob around some of my favourite manufacturers, and I'm here with Mr. Pete Berry. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm fine. Too kind, Ken. Too kind.
Excellent. Purveyor of all things 6mm and 10mm. Oh my God, he's getting bigger. He's getting bigger as we speak to him. And is that your new range?
Well, yeah, it's the old Magister 10mm range, which we've taken on, and we're relaunching now as 10th Legion. Because we don't want to cause any confusion between ourselves and Magister. And yeah, we've just brought our newly refurbished Crusades range along to show people at the show.
Excellent. A lot of interest in them?
Yeah, loads of interest. It's a beautiful range. As it happens, they use the same sculptor for that range as we do for our 6mm figures.
Yeah.
So they are gorgeous, gorgeous figures, and we had to have them.
Excellent. Now, last time we spoke was at Joy of Six. Really good fun show. I put a game on there myself, and how did that go for you?
It was an excellent show. We're always surprised by how many wonderful quality games people produce, and they do this year on year. And even yours, Ken, was almost up to standard. And it was nice to see you playing with some proper sized figures.
I try my best. At least we had a reasonable side table.
Well, yeah, just because we're going small means you can't go big. And yeah, we had big games there as well, as you saw.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic. And any new ranges coming out? The Italian Wars stuff, how's that going?
The Italian Wars is going very nicely. We've got some beautiful gendarmes, which Ken will testify to. Our Landsknechts are out, and they are fun to paint in their own, special way, yes. And the Swiss will be coming out very shortly. We've got those all sculpted, and they're pretty much ready to roll.
Excellent. And how's the show season coming for you? We're coming towards the end of the year. Have you got many left?
The autumn show season is fun. We have something like 6 shows in 9 weeks. So we have to go home from a show, find out what we've sold, cast it all, and get it all ready in 2 weeks before we've got the next one. And in November, we've effectively got 3 shows during 1 month.
Wow.
So we do We do Leeds at the Royal Armouries, and then we're off down to Farnborough in deepest, wildest Hampshire, and then very shortly after that we're back in Middlesbrough, going north again. And finally, your favourite showing, Pudsey.
Oh, my hometown show.
Yep. And I expect to see you at that one.
Well, I'm waiting to be invited, so we'll see whether that happens.
Well, you can come along and work on my stall if you like.
For free, I would imagine.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's lovely to talk to you again, Pete, and you've had a good day so far?
It's been excellent. Always enjoy this show, but yeah, we've been very busy.
Thanks a lot, Pete. In continuing our wander around the stands, now they've gone a bit quiet, we're at Warbases with Glenn. How are you doing, Glenn?
Not too bad, Ken, not too bad. How are you keeping yourself?
I am living the dream, as I always say. I'm living the dream. Now, you lads are based up Falkirk way, is that right?
Yeah, just over the water from Falkirk, a place called Dunfermline. We're up there.
So that's one hell of a journey for you. I mean, this is a relatively local show then.
In the grand scheme of things, aye, this one's pretty local for us. It's about 5.5 hours back up for us tonight, so if we're home by midnight, I think we're doing well.
That's a good effort. And just if people don't know, what kind of stuff do Warbases do?
So we're primarily an MDF manufacturing company. We'll do bases and movement trays as our bread and butter. But we do buildings, and we've developed our table ready terrain range, which is colour printed buildings. We also have a number of miniatures lines, so we've got lines like Depot Battalion, Commander Miniatures, Black Sheep Miniatures, and the biggest one for us is our fantasy line called Bifrost Miniatures. They're all based 28mm scale.
Yeah, because your pre-coloured stuff has been one of the eye-catching things that you've brought out recently. Is that going down well?
Yeah, no, the response to it's fantastic. It's the biggest thing that I've spent most of my year on, and I'm calling it a day for the year for it, because it's all that I've done. I'm spending 30 plus hours a week working on it. There's 100 new colour kits that we've added this year to that range. But the response to it's fantastic. Every range that we've done has sold really well. Where we've had them in colour, we've also had them as a raw MDF counterpart, and the sales on that are still there as well. So I think it's possibly the way that in terms of the MDF hobby is going. But to be able to just buy a kit, build it, play with it. Some of our Dark Age buildings you can build in 5 minutes and have it on the table, and they're fantastic. I absolutely love them.
So without giving any trade secrets away then, is it a difficult process, or is it something you had to buy new kit in for?
No, it's not an easy process. Right. It's far from it. It's a process that we've spent more than 5 years working on. We have a machine that does it for us now. But it was 5 years of research and development. We were almost at a point in 2022 of releasing it, until we discovered there was a major flaw with the material that we were using, and the whole thing got scrapped. It was another 2 years of development again before we got to a point where this time last year we finally brought out our first colour printed range. So it's 5 years worth of development and investment. The machinery that we have is not cheap, but it has paid for itself, and we actually bought a second printing machine this year, which allows us to be able to continue to develop that range and do more. We've just recently been working with the guys at Grip and Beast for their Echo Shores Kickstarter. We're providing them with colour printed tokens, and that's a way that we're looking at moving with that as well now, that machine. But there's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of processes to be able to get to what you see here today. Yeah, and collaborating with other companies seems to be something that Warbases does really well, producing tokens for other games, etc. Obviously that's a growth area for you? Yeah, it's one that we're looking at. We've had a working relationship with Richard at Two Fat Lardies for circa 15 plus years now. We now develop colour token sets for every one of his rule sets that come out. We work with people like Carl at Crooked Dice. Grip and Beast's a new one that we've been working on. They approached us a few months ago about the Echo Shores rules, and it's one that we're now working on with them. And it's just another avenue for us. It's one that we really enjoy working on, one that we really have a lot of fun with.
Do you get a lot of time off weekend-wise, or is it just constant, mate?
I'd like to say I don't get much time off and it's constant, but I actually go on holiday next week. But it's the first break I've had in about 5 months. I don't think I've had any time off since Salute. This is pretty constant. Evenings, weekends, nights. It is what it is, and I absolutely love this job. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here. I absolutely love it. And to do a job that's in your hobby is fantastic.
Yeah, and to see the company from an outside point of view, to see the company continue to develop and bring new stuff out, and you're never staying still, which is great to see.
If you're staying still, you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been told. If you're staying still, you're moving backwards. There's a new announcement coming out in a few weeks' time for a new range that we're purchasing. I'm not overly sure if I'm meant to tell you that or not yet,
right,
but
keep it quiet.
there'll be a bit of news on that in a couple of weeks' time. But no, we're always constantly moving forward. We're always constantly looking to evolve and develop and adapt. And like I said, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards.
But if I need some 60 by 60 bases, you're the man.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I might even have some in stock still.
Well, thanks a lot, Glenn. Thanks for your time, and cracking company, mate.
Oh, cheers, Ken. Thank you for having me on, mate.
No worries. Oh, I did come to the stand, but you weren't there. Right, continuing my trip round the traders here, I'm talking to Paul Eaglestone from Empress Miniatures. How are you doing, young man?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Surviving.
How's the show been for you today?
It seems busy. I mean, it's been busy, but I mean, this is, I shouldn't say it's going to upset so many people, but this is probably the historic show on the circuit now, in that you've only got to look at the stand of the games, you've only got to look at the people here who are really getting into it, and it's what I call real good old-fashioned wargaming.
Without a doubt, this is the show, and obviously the first Partizan that I really look forward to, because I know they're the best games. I mean, obviously, I haven't got a game here today, but
but if you had, it'd be good.
Yeah, the other best games are here. So obviously, you're basically all historical miniatures from your range.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. So, is this a prime sort of slot for you?
Oh yeah, very much so. You know, it's. I mean, what I kind of like about the show is the guys that run it. They know it. They know how it works, and they look after their traders. And I mean, you get around the shows, you know that traders are important. I mean, it's a UK phenomenon to a degree, but the traders are important because people come to trade, to buy, and therefore the standard of some of the games at some of the other shows isn't quite as good. And even Salute, sadly, has kind of gone down and has got into this sort of all-encompassing thing on what is a war game. But this is a prime spot, and it's centre of the country. And the nice thing about doing shows, because we nowadays don't do that much, we do probably 5-6 a year, is meeting the faces, the customers that you're dealing with all the time. So it's important to us to do that. But the simple fact is, as we all look around, is we're not getting any younger.
We're not, mate, are we?
So, you know, again, it's important, it's great, it's fun.
So what's the current hot stuff at Empress Miniatures? What new range you've got out?
For the last few years we've been doing the Arnhem ranges, and we're just about to do the German side of the conflict, very Arnhem based.
Yeah.
It's very specialist, and so that's due out in a couple of weeks' time, so that's the hot potato. But in all honesty, you know, people who know the ranges know we don't necessarily go for the obvious stuff like Napoleonics. Yeah. We do some of the weird and wonderful stuff, the niche stuff, like Spanish Civil War. Still a big game.
Well, I've got quite a lot of Spanish Civil War. I would imagine I've paid half your pension with my Spanish Civil War collection.
Yeah, I can never have too much, so keep going.
Yeah, so I mean that's something about Empress Miniatures. It is that niche areas, but you always always appear to try and do quality. Is that something that's very important?
Yeah, since day one. I mean, the whole thing started up with us looking at the situation, and the simple reason it started was because we wanted to do certain conflicts, and we didn't like the figures that were available.
Yeah.
So we said, well, We want to design them how we want them. We want them to be designed with war games in mind. We wanted quality in manufacture because we were fed up with sitting there and almost sculpting everything by filing and witness line issues and stuff. And so quality of design, quality of manufacture, quality of product, the whole thing. And that's Empress Miniatures. It's how we started, it's how we continue. So we're not the cheapest, although I think I could put my prices up more because everybody's gone past us. But, so take note, come and buy quick. But it's really what Empress is, the whole thing is supposed to be aimed at quality.
And enthusiasm for it is still there?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, it gets you out of bed in the morning. I mean, I'm that horrendous pensionable age. And you kind of think, do I need this? But it gets you out of bed. Otherwise, I'd be dribbling a lot and eating porridge lots and stuff like that. So I'm watching afternoon television and watching adverts about pensions and dying. So it just gets me in an office.
I've noticed that because I work shifts, so I'm at home during the day sometimes. And sometimes you just think, are you trying to get me to die? Because you want a fucking stair lift or something else.
The thing I like is that the actors and the scripts they use on all those adverts seem to be aimed at people that brains don't work anymore. And it's like, this isn't an accident, this is a common thing. So I need to do an advert on the television, in afternoon television, and get some really bad actors to do it.
Yeah, and get them painting a load of your figures, that'll be working really good. Well, thanks a lot, Paul. We'll do a full show very soon, one day. But thanks a lot, mate.
My pleasure. And keep on with the Facebook page, it's brilliant.
Thank you, mate. This is just a hello. Right, I'm walking down, and I'm with a very reluctant Dave Thomas, who is one of the purveyors of many War Games things. How are you doing, Dave?
Smashing, thank you very much.
Excellent. You are one of the mainstays of the Wargaming shows with your big stand. So what have we got for sale?
Oh, everything. Perry miniatures, metals mainly, and then a whole host of plastics.
Now, there's a vicious rumour going round that you used Jerry Miller as a slave.
I do. Yeah.
So
I never get my change off him when I send him for coffee. He keeps the change.
Now, there's a vicious rumour. So Jerry is embezzling money from you.
He is, yes.
So how do you find Partizan as a show then?
It's fantastic. It's probably the best on the circuit.
Yeah.
Very good. We take more money at salutes.
Yeah.
But this is more enjoyable, much more enjoyable.
Now, your nights out before shows are legendary.
I don't do that anymore. No, I'm early to bed and open at them first thing in the morning.
I've heard stories about drag bars and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. That was in my youth.
So you've calmed down now, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Well, I'd love to have you on the show for a proper chat one day, because I know you've got lots of anecdotes about various people, and we can lock some of them away until they pass away if you want.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Wouldn't know where to start.
Thanks, Dave. Cheers, mate. Right, we're at the dregs now. We're coming down to the end. We're with my long-term mate Paul from Early Wargames. How are you doing?
Hello everyone. Dregs, what you like?
And also nearby is the workforce.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Been a good day.
Excellent. I always wanted to get Andy on as well. Just
You're a very shy lad, as you can see. Yes.
So, how's the day been at Partizan?
It has been outstanding, Ken. It's just been phenomenal. I think we broke the record here in terms of turnover, which is one reason we're here. But just catching up with people we've not seen for a while. A number of people talking to me about this as well. The
raid thing is definitely something we're going to come on to in a moment. I just wanted to see how life was going on business-wise as well.
Business-wise is good, but I've overstretched myself. Like I said to you, really, I did way too much in the summer, and things off drop. So I'm looking at the creative juices coming back, the creative mojo.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting back into that. But from now until Christmas, with a few small pauses, I'm focused on rebuilding the website. I put all of this It's all me. I'm the hold up.
Yeah.
I've got to recreate this. I've got to do the descriptions, and I've got to find all the photograph and then upload it.
Yeah.
So I've got to do it.
So, and somebody else doing all the hard work.
And he's doing all the real work. Yeah. He's been an absolute star throughout the summer because the raid stuff has totally absorbed me and it has overstretched me. And Andy's just been like stalwart, turns up regularly, does all the work. And yeah, so a pleasure to work with. I mean, some good games as well.
Brilliant. Well, I've been keeping abreast of the raid story on Facebook and what have you, and I noticed that these guided tours.
I know. Well, it came about from the locals of St Laurence, and we're very lucky. We've got a charter boat in Bender Harbour, and I'd been on it for a little trip with the missus anyway. And one of the people who runs it, he came to one of our talks, and we then got very drunk in the pub after as well. And he said, "Paul, I'd love it to use the boat as a platform to do a talk about the tour about the raid." And what's unique about it, Ken, is the raid started in the sea and finished in the sea.
Yeah.
So to be able to go, and I was kind of pointing, I drew a little map where I wanted them to take the boat, to go in close. The unique perspective it gives you, particularly the landing point and the extraction point, can only really be viewed from the sea. So we did our first one 2 Wednesdays ago. Went incredibly well. We're blessed with beautiful weather. And they want to do more. So it's just all about telling the story of this local event.
Is there a VIP experience where you can dress up in World War II uniform and dash up the cliffs with an MP43?
No, not that I'm aware of. No plans for that. And anyway, you'll be dressed as a British uniform with a Sten gun.
Yeah. Oh, the German uniform's extra.
German is definitely extra. Yes, they may have had German underpants, of course. You know, ersatz, gussets, and all that. But no, nothing like that planned. But the landowner is again phenomenally supportive, and we've got the next Lord Lieutenant of the Isle of Wight actually lives in the old St Laurence Inn, where that map was found just recently. You saw, and of course you got the most perfect view of the entire station from that place. So that's created a whole new buzz in St Laurence about who lived there, what did they, and they're all looking up the old landlords and. Like most pubs, it had a bit of a checkered past. So lots of things have come out like that. But it's just another avenue. And we've got another dig in December to identify the anti-aircraft factories. But that's where I've over.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the permissions that you got to do another dig. Is December a wise time to do that?
Probably not. Even in the English tropics, it gets bloody cold down there. And we're on a very exposed part of the island down there. Just round the corner from Windy Corner, the St Catherine's, it blows a gale. But the main problem has been there's quite an aggressive herd of cattle, right, that graze Mr. Twining's land. And he's apparently been accosted by them several times. He's quite worried about us. I've said I'm not worried, but then I've heard lots of stories about them biting people over the fence. Unusually so. But so December's the time to do it. We may have our Dutch friend coming over especially as well. Professor Simons wants to come back. We had his initial archaeological study, which is, I learned all about the science of deposition, Ken.
Nice.
I didn't know there was such a thing, but there is, and apparently it's really, really, really important for archaeologists.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I'll have to read his notes, actually, because I still don't quite understand it. But it seems good fortune has come our way because 3 of the 4 main sites where the artifacts were found have apparently the most perfect deposition you could ever ask for, i.e., gated or wired protected wetlands where these artifacts have fallen. And deposition, I believe, is all about the science of how things came to be found where they were and survive in a short term. I'm sure there's a whole degree behind that.
Yeah.
And apparently those 3 of those 4 sites, we have the best deposition you could ever expect. So he's massively excited. His wife is very senior in the archaeological field as well, and they both came over. So it's lovely to see them both. And Edmund wants to write an introduction and a summary at the end. He wants me to finish this work, which you've got part on, and give you here. And he then wants to submit it for a peer-reviewed journal across the world.
That's fantastic, mate.
I'm kind of blown away by a little bit about it, but he's adamant. So
how much is the ice cream concession going to be on there?
I don't know. I don't think we've got one in St Laurence, actually. No, we haven't. And the post office is going to close next year. So, yeah, I know.
There's some money to be made here with a theme park, boat rides, ice cream concessions.
The boat rides were fun, only because I wanted to get the captain to drive me where I wanted to go and tell a few people about our story. No, No, it's lovely. I'll tell you one thing, quick thinking. We went to a Battles Through History show last weekend and took the exhibition there for the first time, and we never thought we'd hear any stories from people from the mainland. But bugger me, did we get an absolute corker. My buddy who came with me said that story from those people was worth the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And in short, we were very near the end on Sunday. We had quite a big open stand with a very big sign saying the emerging story of the German commander raid. And these two gentlemen came past, stopped, looked up, came over to the table and got massively emotional. Long story short, his father had always said there had been a raid on the Isle of Wight. And he was adamant, he had lots of details. And this gentleman and his brother had effectively teased their father for many years. Oh, Dad, what else did you make up? What else did you do in the war? And honestly, Ken, he was tearful. He was tearful. He subsequently joined a little public interest group we've got, shared the story more fully. And what that tells us is he's the first man to ever record that the two men that his father remembers were guards, RAF guards. He would have just said people killed, not guards. So, and the fact the story made it from the Isle of Wight during war to the mainland, because his man's father was an AA gunner on the Dorset coast.
Wonderful.
I know. It's just, I know it doesn't sound much, but trust me, to have been there with that gentleman who was in tears, this story does grip people still.
Yeah, and it's fantastic that the more work that you do, the more people come out with their stories. Yeah. That, like you say, have probably been family myths and mirth for many years, and now people are realising that, hang on a minute, this probably happened.
Some of them are. So we've got another talk later in October, again, part of overstretching myself. And on a public talk, I'm going to try and lay the seeds for the public records, the RAF records for this night are false. And that's a big bold claim. And I've asked for a show of hands who believes the public record and who's open to seeing other evidence. And then by showing the 6 other versions from other people who were there, what they said happened, and comparing it to the RF ones, we'll see what people think at the end.
That's going to be an interesting thing, mate.
Yeah, I'm pushing the boundary of what I could do, really. But I thought that's the best way to get this out there. Anyone can turn around and say, oh, they made it up. But I'm going to demonstrate that they made it up. Just like everyone else says what happened.
Well, that's brilliant. It's been a pleasure to be part of the stories we've gone along.
Okay, it's been a major part. Again, this show today, so many people have come up and said, oh, Paul, I love what you're talking about. And all on Ken's show.
Yeah.
I'm following the story. So thank you.
Hey, no worries, mate. And thanks a lot. It'll be time for you to get packed and go. So thanks once again, Paul.
You're welcome. And we've got 2 days of curry, because there's no good curry houses on the Isle of Wight. So we top up when we're here. So, yeah.
And a special thanks from Andy as well.
And I'm looking forward to the beer tonight.
Paul.
Good man, good man. Paul's pockets are deep and wide.
Where's the best place for noise?
We're just packing away now, and I've been looking for this man all day. He's been avoiding me, but we've got Leon from Pendragon here. How are you doing, young man?
I'm not too bad, apart from the voice being a bit croaky.
Is it catching? Am I going to get some lurgy?
It shouldn't be nothing. It's just loud haul, too much talking.
And for those who don't know, Pendragon sell
lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, over 10,000 things now. So over half of that is 10mm stuff specifically. Yeah. But then we do kind of all kinds of third-party stuff: paints, bases, decals, grasses, scatters, buildings.
Yeah, 10mm is kind of what you're known for.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, how's today gone? I can see some spaces on the racks. It looked like you've sold a bit.
There are a few, but it's a Partizan. These are always great shows. They're always well attended, very vibrant, busy ones.
Yeah. And you put some news out recently that you're going to have a year off doing the shows. So just tell the audience a little bit about
that. So yeah, we've decided to take a bit of a break, primarily for some health reasons that I've got going on that I want to kind of just get on top of. Yeah. But also just to try and free up some time and get on with some projects, because I've got so many things backed up at Pendragon HQ. There must be 15, 20 projects. There's new sci-fi ranges, fantasy ranges, ancients ranges, Vietnam buildings, African buildings, dungeon sets. There's just so much stuff, and you just never quite find the time to get it sorted before you're on the next revolving door of the next show.
Yeah, and you're quite well known for doing a lot of shows in a year, and obviously that takes up a large amount of your time just in travel.
It does. I mean, being away at the shows itself is 29 days of the year that you're just in the van or at a show. and then you've got a day loading it, you've got a day unloading it back at work, so there's another 26 days. So kind of between me and Adele, it's 3 months of our working year is just doing events.
And I think did you have a clutch go on your van?
Yes, about a mile from the venue at the Colours Show down south. It just went, well, I put my foot down, it just didn't come back up.
Yeah.
So we had to limp that one home in third and sixth gears.
You managed to crash the bigger gearbox to get it home?
Yeah, so I managed to get the clutch back up just enough to get into a gear.
Yeah.
And then we just had to do third round every roundabout until we got on the M1 and then just 200 miles without changing gear.
And just praying that there wouldn't be anything stopping in front of you.
Well, we weren't stopping at that point.
So you're quite looking forward to this break then, and the opportunity to get things kind of sorted within the business itself and get these new ranges out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, I guess. It's exciting to think of what we can actually achieve with that free time.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of regret, I guess, because we're going to miss seeing people. That's the bit of the shows that we've always enjoyed, is just getting out and seeing people. So it's a bit of a mixed feeling, I suppose, and there's a bit of a gamble to it, because you might find that all of those show sales don't just migrate to online sales, and suddenly we've lost a ton of money as well.
But you've got a little bit of a kind of a showroom now, haven't you, with Pendrac and a couple of 3 tables in there. Is that proving popular?
It's getting a lot more use now. Since it was a bit quiet the first couple of years that we built the room, but this year I think we've had about 10 or 12 events in the games room, and the shop's always open as well. It's a proper shop.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to focus a lot more on those things. Try and run a few more game days, maybe some kind of rule demo days, painting, modelling sessions, all kinds of things, I guess.
Well, it sounds fantastic. I hope you enjoy your, in inverted commas, break, and I'll let you get packed up.
No worries, and I'll have a voice by the time I get to see you next.
Cheers, Leon. Thank you.
Cheers, Ken.
So there you go. There was live from T'Other Partizan, and I've used the Who's Live from Leeds cover, album cover, as a base for the thumbnail for the show. And I think that actually went quite well. I'd done the introduction chat before I'd put the show together, and I wasn't sure how things would go, but it seemed to work pretty well. I had some difficulties with the recording from Paul from Early War Miniatures, so I had to use an AI system to get it back together. But what that did is it completely removed all the background noise, so you may have noticed that everything was live in inverted commas, and you could hear, the general mismatch of the show in the background. In fact, I think there was a small child being abducted in the first bit with Trix and Laurence, but I'm sure they're all right now. So yeah, it was an exciting experiment, something different. I quite enjoyed doing it on the day. I've quite enjoyed putting it together. Let me know what you think of this format. I don't know whether I'll ever do another one in the future, or whether I'll get the opportunity, because normally I've got a game on and I'm doing other things, so I don't often get a chance to go around and talk to people and concentrate on making a podcast live. So might be something I do again in the future. You never know. But thanks for listening, and wherever you get this, please give us a follow, give us a subscribe, leave a comment. It all helps grow the podcast and get us some more followers. So hopefully I'll have the Time Machine episode for you next, but you never know. But until then, Siddy.